Hey guys, welcome back to the Turbo V6 YouTube channel. In this episode, we're going to be working on the Firebird, hopefully finishing up the turbo kit once and for all, and then we're that much closer to get it up and running. So stay tuned. Quick tip, mandrel bends are not all created equal. And I went the cheap route, bought some more inexpensive 304 stainless mandrel bends, and they are not perfectly round. So here's a tip for all of you that are also buying some more inexpensive tubing. Hopefully it'll help you get nice fit up, make welding go a little bit easier. So here we have a 2 1/4 mandrel bend. It's a cutoff, so it's about, partway through the bend. I don't remember what this was, either a 90 or a 180, but either way I had to cut it because I only need this angle. And now I have my same size V-band, and you can see on the round portion it's pretty much a perfect fit. I mean, I'd have to really even push it in there. There's a minor gap on the one side, and I could probably push this in the vise and make it a little bit round. This is getting closer to the bend, so it's not perfectly round, but you can see the gaps, pretty tight. Yeah, you can see I can't even fit a 35 thou piece of filler down in that gap, so not too bad. Probably wouldn't want any larger of a gap than that. If I flip it around, you can see there is a massive gap. If I cheat it to the one side and I use the same 35 thou filler, I could pretty much fit 2 side by side in that gap. I mean, that's a massive gap. So I found a little trick to make that a lot better fit up. The one bad thing is you will need a bead roller. So this is a very inexpensive bead roller. I forget where I bought it, but I'll put a link down in the description. I think it was maybe like 70, 80 bucks. It's really nice for making beads. So I have to angle it like this in the vise so that this can still spin, and also so I can get my bend in there without it hitting the vise. Tighten it down to where you only have this much in the bead roller, and that actually winds up bending and flaring this out. Now you really have to take it slow, just like tighten it down maybe 1/8 to 1/4 turn at a time, go a couple rounds around the pipe, and it will eventually slowly, bend that out. It's probably killing this thing in the long term, but if this thing doesn't last, then I'll just upgrade to a higher quality one. But this was pretty inexpensive, so not too bad. So if we go ahead and look at how this guy fits in there, I have to actually push it in there. It's a nice snug fit. Take a 35 thou filler, and I can't fit that guy in there. So all the way around, huge difference from the raw cut piece. So it'll make welding all the way around super nice and easy. Doesn't bend the pipe or make any major defects. So yeah, you can get around some working with some more inexpensive tubing. So off camera, I did a little bit of work to the downpipe or dump pipe, and also to the inlet. I got some things tacked up. I have the manifolds in there and mocked up. Not finally mounted or anything. I still have to basically weld the V-bands onto the end of those. Figuring out how I'm gonna do the crossover to wire the pipes together. But yeah, let's just get into it, see how much we can get done. Okay, so you can see I got a couple more pieces cut up. I actually also polished a few of these pieces. Well, not fully polished, but sanded down with a number of different grits. They started out looking like this one, so just to try and compare, you can see the difference. There's all the bending marks are still on there, so I just basically just wanted to take those off. I'm going to wind up putting like a brushed finish, kind of like I did with this 90, 4-inch 90 and the merge. I also got my 4-inch stack cut, semi-rough length, because I'm not exactly sure how long. I'm pretty sure I want it coming out of the hood, so I left maybe a couple inches of excess so that I can kind of match it to the hood and, you know, make it poke out of the hood once I get the hole cut in the hood. Once I get this side done, we'll start working on what angle I want to cut this one at. And then on this side, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to use like kind of another 90. I'm going to have to work on forming that kind of merge between the two 2¼ pieces into this 2.5-inch piece right there. So yeah, we need to just keep working away on this turbo kit, and once that's done, then we'll decide, you know, if I want to get it running, fire it up just to hear it, and then go from there. Making some more really good progress. I have the transition that's going to go from 2.25 to 2.5. It's going to sit somewhere around there. Definitely haven't ever welded a joint like this, so hopefully I don't blow too many holes into it. So yeah, that was not a very easy piece to make. Lots of grinding. I really couldn't find any kind of template for basically this 90. If it was 2 straight pieces, there's tons of things online, but finding a template or something, or making a piece of paper to try and get this bend lined up, and yeah, just doesn't exist. So we'll get this thing welded up in the next day or two and continue working on the turbo kit. So you saw that I got this thing tacked up. I actually wound up cutting the tacks and tweaking it a little bit more so it fit in the engine bay a little bit better. Now I got it plugged up, purging it with argon, and yeah, we're gonna get most of this welded up. Problem is I don't want to burn my silicone, you know, plug, so I'm probably gonna weld up to, you know, somewhere around this tack on both sides, and then once I tack it and then I go to weld the other seam on the rest of the kit, I'll just weld up that last final bit. pretty much stopped on the turbo kit. Sadly, I'm not able to wrap it up like I wanted to. So I pretty much got the merge done, got the flex sections welded or tacked to the merge. The next pieces were to connect the flex sections with these, obviously with the V-bands. But I realized that I just really didn't like how the flanges came out. I wound up warping them just slightly. I think it was when I was welding the collectors, I realized that I didn't have the flanges bolted down to the cylinder head. That was the stupid part on my end, because these things were perfectly flat after welding all of the flanges up to the tubes. That didn't warp at all because it was bolted to the cylinder head. But yeah, I did not have these bolted to the cylinder heads when I welded the merge. So this thing must have, pulled and shrunk whenever I welded this up. But yeah, it just sucks. So now I'm gonna have to take to my local machinist, and hopefully he can skim off like 20 thou. I think basically they're high in the middle and low on the sides. So basically just need to skim off like 20 thou from the middle, and then they'll be perfectly flat and I'll have a nice surface finish. So hopefully that won't take too long, and then I'll be able to bolt the manifolds back into the car, have the gaskets in there, have everything nice and tight. That way everything's in its final position. We can go ahead and tack and weld everything up, and then the turbo kit will be done. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Hopefully it won't take too long to get these things skim cut, and I'll be able to wrap this turbo kit up in not too long. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Later.